Imagine this. A person, just like you, begins noticing a strange, persistent tingling at the base of their spine. At first, they dismiss it. Maybe a pinched nerve, they think, or stress. But the sensation doesn't go away. It grows. Then, one night, during a moment of deep stillness, something extraordinary happens. A surge of energy, white-hot yet weightless, erupts up their spine like liquid lightning. Their vision floods with golden light. The walls around them dissolve. Time stops. For hours they exist in a vast, boundless space where the very concept of self vanishes. They don't just think about oneness. They become it. Every cell in their body hums with a frequency beyond words. And when they finally return to ordinary awareness, nothing is the same. This isn't fiction. This is Kundalini awakening, a phenomenon documented across cultures for millennia. The ancient Egyptians called it the serpent of wisdom. The Mayans depicted it as the feathered serpent. In India, it's known as Shakti, the divine feminine energy coiled like a sleeping serpent at the base of every human spine. What if I told you this dormant force isn't reserved for yogis or mystics? It's inside you right now. And modern science is finally beginning to understand why. We live in a world that has systematically disconnected us from this inner power. From childhood, we're trained to focus outward, on grades, jobs, social status. The modern education system, corporate culture, even mainstream religion all conspire to keep us locked in what the mystics call survival consciousness. Consider this. The average person checks their phone 58 times a day. We're drowning in dopamine hits from social media, constantly distracted, perpetually stressed. This isn't accidental. A population disconnected from its spiritual core is easier to control, easier to manipulate into consumerism. But here's what they don't want you to know. Your body is wired for transcendence, literally. The vagus nerve, often called the soul nerve, connects your brain to your gut and carries signals of intuition. The pineal gland, buried deep in your brain, produces DMT, the so-called spirit molecule. Your spine contains cerebrospinal fluid that conducts electromagnetic energy with remarkable efficiency. Yet most people go their entire lives never activating this system. They mistake the occasional spiritual glimpse, that moment of awe in nature, the inexplicable knowing during a crisis, for random neurological events. But these are cracks in the facade, moments when your true nature shines through the conditioning. The tragedy? Our medical system pathologizes spiritual awakening. People experiencing Kundalini activation are often misdiagnosed with bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, or anxiety. Powerful spiritual experiences get medicated into submission because we've lost the cultural framework to understand them. Let me share with you what the ancient texts reveal about your true nature. In Kashmir Shaivism, one of the most sophisticated spiritual traditions, reality is described as the divine play of Shiva and Shakti. Shiva represents pure consciousness, the silent witness. Shakti is dynamic energy, the creative force that manifests the universe. Here's the revolutionary insight. This dance isn't happening somewhere out there. It's happening within you, right now. Your thoughts? That's Shakti moving through the field of Shiva. Your breath? The rhythm of their eternal embrace. Modern physics echoes this ancient wisdom. At the quantum level, particles pop in and out of existence. The solid world you perceive is actually 99.999% empty space. What we call matter is just energy vibrating at different frequencies. Your body? A temporary constellation of these vibrations. Your mind? A localized expression of universal consciousness. When Kundalini awakens, What's actually happening is your personal energy system begins to resonate with this fundamental reality. The 7 chakras aren't mystical symbols. They're transformers that step down cosmic energy for human experience. Each one corresponds to 1. A specific nerve plexus in your physical body. 2. A particular endocrine gland. 3. A stage of psychological development. 4. A level of spiritual awareness. For example, the heart chakra, anahata, is physically located near the cardiac plexus and thymus gland. Psychologically, it governs love and connection. Spiritually, its awakening brings the realization that all separation is illusion. Recent studies at institutions like the University of California and Harvard Medical School have documented remarkable changes during advanced meditation. 1. Gamma brain wave synchronization across the entire cortex. 2. Increased gray matter density in prefrontal regions. 3rd. Enhanced connectivity between brain hemispheres. 4th. Activation of the parasympathetic nervous system. What's fascinating is how these modern findings align with ancient descriptions. The inner light reported by meditators correlates with increased activity in the visual cortex. The sense of oneness corresponds to decreased activity in the parietal lobe, which maintains our sense of physical boundaries. Dr. Andrew Newberg's research at Thomas Jefferson University used SPECT scans to show how mystical experiences literally rewire the brain. Long-term meditators show permanent changes in neural structures associated with 1. Self-awareness. 2. Emotional regulation. 3. Compassion. 4th. Sense of connection. We're living through what philosophers call a meaning crisis. Depression rates have skyrocketed. Anxiety disorders are epidemic. People feel disconnected, purposeless. The old narratives, religious, political, economic, have failed us. Kundalini awakening offers a way through this crisis, not by escaping the world, but by seeing it more clearly. When Shakti rises, you don't reject ordinary life, you perceive the extraordinary within it. The morning coffee becomes a sacred ritual. The touch of a loved one feels like divine grace. Work becomes worship. This isn't about becoming some detached mystic. It's about bringing sacred awareness into daily life. The awakened warrior, the enlightened entrepreneur, the spiritually grounded parent. These are the archetypes we need today. And with that, we've come to the end of this exploration. But the journey is just beginning. In our next sessions, we'll go even deeper. Here's what's coming. If what you've heard today resonates, if you've ever felt that strange energy at the base of your spine, if you sense there's more to reality than meets the eye, then you won't want to miss part 2. Leave a comment below with the word "awaken" if you're ready to go deeper. And if this message touched you, share it with one person who needs to hear it. The world changes when enough individuals awaken. Until next time, remember, the goddess isn't out there somewhere. She's sleeping in your spine, and she's waiting for you to say, "I'm ready."